Good evening, students. We'll be starting the session shortly since many students are still joining. We'll start in like 5, 6 minutes.
You are not audible. Please check if you have started the meeting. Student, please be
Uh,
patient. We are starting now.
Hi Rohit.
am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, Zoya. Hi, Lavish. Welcome to the meeting. We are starting right now. So over
Sure.
to you, Zoya.
Great. So, good evening, everyone. Uh, before starting with the masterclass, I would like to congratulate many of you who have completed their learning plans and have submitted them. And a lot of you have completed like 80% of them. And I would like to address some queries that are coming up recently that is related to the forms and the team changes and where to submit. So let's address that first. Okay. So just a second. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, great. So before we start, let's address this form. So this form has been shared with all of you via mail and through WhatsApp as well. So as you can see, it is very similar to the form that you all have filled earlier, where you nominated your teams. But since we have got a lot of queries on changing the team members, changing team names, or you forgot your team name, and things like that, you want to add some members, subtract some members. So you all just need to fill this form. Even if you don't have to change your team in any way, you still have to fill this form simply because it is now updated to be to upload your concept notes and upload your certificates as well. So first of all, you will be selecting which plan, which program you are under, and then your college name. Now, if you have multiple colleges in your team, just write your college name and then put a comma and write the other college name. If your college is here, that is good. And if not, then there is an other option. You can select this.
Adding
Then
to
there's
this,
location.
adding to this, if the students are from multiple colleges, then also we'll recommend you to mark others, and it's a huge drop down list. So remain patient in locating your college name. But if you are not able to locate your college name, then we'll suggest you to go and mark yourself as other. Back to Zoya.
Yeah, so moving on, there is college location as well. Similarly, you will select your state in which your college belongs. If you cannot locate your state over here, you will mark other. Then, how many team members do you have? Now we have upgraded this to go maximum to 10 and minimum to 2. So if you are doing this internship alone, we would highly suggest you to find a teammate because a team has at least 2 people, right? So, and this is a sample certificate format that you will get after completing your internship plan that you need to upload in the next page. You will write your team name here and please remember your team name this time. Don't forget. And you will upload your concept note here. So one team needs to make one concept note. Okay, so no individual concept notes, one team, one concept note. And then the name of the SPOC or the single point of contact or the team leader, whatever you want to say. Right, then on the next page, there is, I think I need to fill it. On the next page, you will find option to select your upload your certificates. So you can do over there because we have received multiple queries on where to upload certificate. It is on the next page, right? Once you're done with all of this, you'll click on next and you'll upload your certificates over there. Is there any query so far in the form? Rohit, if there is, can you please let me know?
Sorry.
If there is any query related to the form in the chat box, can you please let me know?
Sure. So people are commonly asking that does the entire team member has to fill out this form or just the team leader for the SkillsBox?
Only the SkillsBox need to fill the form, but all the team members need to upload their certificates on the next page. So one person will fill it and all the certificates will be uploaded.
And people are asking that which certificate, ma'am, do we have to upload?
So I'll show you that also. So we have this learning plan over here. You can click on any the link of web development and you'll land on this page, right? So this learning plan is divided into 3 parts. So in the first part, you are required to complete 7 courses, 7 out of these 7. So you are required to do all of these courses. Then we'll come to section number 2, in which you have to do 2 out of 4 courses. So there are 4 courses given. You need to do 2 out of these, any 2. If you want to do more, you can, but any 2 you need to do. And then in the third part, you need to do 1 out of any 3. So there are 3 courses given, at least 1 you need to do. And after doing that, you will get a certificate similar to this. This is a sample certificate. So when you complete the learning plan, you will get the certificate and you will upload this certificate in this form. Is that clear?
And student, we understand there is a quiz in this learning plan, which is acting weird, which is running very slow. This is with everybody, with all the learners, and we completely understand. That's why we are giving you extensions every time. So I request you to try refreshing your web pages or try in later hours when the platform congestion is less. You will be able to complete that quiz. But yes, you need to keep up with that slow speed. We understand that challenge you guys are having. And concept note, how long the concept note should be? You just have to write 1 to 2 pages of the concept note to demonstrate your project idea. We don't want you to be very comprehensive about that. And the certificate which Zoya ma'am has shared with you is the learning plan certificate which you have to upload. Only Spock has to fill this form, the Google form, on the behalf of team members. Spock is responsible to collect these certificates of all the team members and upload it. There could be a scenario that students have completed the learning activities, but it is not coming completed or it is not showing completed. So in that situation, you can upload the screenshots also of that learning plan so that we know that you are 80% there or 90% there. We'll even consider that. But I request you to complete filling out this Google form before 10th of July. That's why we have extended the date because of the platform congestion issues.
Also, there are sample concept notes here if you want to check them out. For example, this is the web development concept note. Just a second. Okay, but this is a lengthy one. You don't need to write so much. We just need an idea from your end. It can be 2 pager. It doesn't have to be a 13-page concept note. Just an idea on your end how you are wanting to complete your project and what are the tools that you will use for it, basically. And you just need to upload that over here, right? Any other questions regarding this? Otherwise, we can get on with the masterclass.
how to download the completion certificate of the learning plan. So you can just show them the actions and then view completion certificate will pop out.
Okay. Okay, so is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. It's taking time. It's raining over here, I think. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry I dropped off. It's raining over here, so the network's a little spotty.
So students, I'm dropping all the relevant links in the chat box. The first link is will direct you to the learning plan, and the second link is where you have to upload all these certificates and concept notes. We understand there are a lot of queries coming in, but we cannot keep our speaker on hold. So we'll be starting this masterclass. We'll be addressing your queries in the end of the masterclass. Also, we have extended the deadline to 10th of July for submitting your concept notes, understanding all the technical issues you are experiencing. Also, after you done submitting this concept note, we will be reaching out to you to collect your job interests and profiling so that we can start reaching out to the potential employers for the placement opportunities. So this placement opportunity will only come to you if you successfully fill out this Google form containing your concept note and learning plan completion. The remaining weeks, we understand in the previous weeks of this internship program, you are just completing self-paced learning and just one masterclass has happened. But in the remaining weeks, there will be a lot of mentoring meetings coming with you. Q&A sessions will also be coming. There will be another couple of masterclasses. So the next few weeks will be little extensive with respect to meetings and everything. So you will be getting a great opportunities to learn about the web development domain. Also, there are a lot of people, if you go to the profile section of your SkillsBuild platform, there are a lot of chances that instead of CSRBOX, DGT is coming, EduNet is coming, or Open SkillsBuild is coming. So in that situation, we will be also posting a Google form on Monday where you have to mention if apart from CSRBOX, any other thing is mentioned, we will make the transfer happen on backend from CSRBOX to from other organization to CSRBOX. Where if you can show your profile section to see how CSRBOX or any other organization name is shown, it will be good for the students' reference. So also there are students who has completed 80 to 90% of the learning activity and they're not able to complete 100% because of technical issues. So we request you to upload the screenshot of your learning plan instead of the certificate. We'll consider it. And also we'll circulate another Google form on Monday to Tuesday where you have to tell us in which activity you are having issues so that we can take that to IBM to get that resolved. So we are working to address all your technical issues about the platform. So I request you to keep up with it. So like you can see on the screen, there is the name of the learner, there's the email ID of the learner, and CSRBOX is mentioned right in front of you. But in some situation, instead of CSRBOX, there could be DGT, EduNet, or Open Skills Build is mentioned. So if it's in your case, some other thing is mentioned, then I request you to fill out the Google form that will come to you on Monday. So we will be addressing all the common queries that are coming to us. So stay tuned on our WhatsApp groups. So on this note, we are about to start our second masterclass on front-end web development. So over to you, Zoya. You can begin introducing our speaker and then we can start. So on this note, I think due to some technical issues, Zoya must have dropped out. So I take the opportunity to introduce the speaker. So today we have with us Lavish, who is currently working as software development engineer at Clearwater Analytics. He has an experience of more than 5 years in IT industry. He has worked on various different technology domains like desktop applications, data engineering, web development. He has been the part of such internship programs, innovation camp previously also, and he has always been an important support system to accomplish such innovation camps and internship programs. So we are again very thankful to have him with us in the capacity of speaker. So welcome to you, Lavish Gupta, for joining us in the capacity of speaker. We're looking forward to a fruitful session ahead. My voice is slow. I'm so sorry. I'll keep the mic closer to my mouth. But over to you, Lavish. You can start with the masterclass. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Sure. Thank you, Rohit. Welcome everyone to the masterclass. I hope my voice is clear to everyone and I'm visible to everyone, right?
Yes,
Just
you are visible and your voice is clear.
okay. That's great. Thank you, Rohit. Okay, so let's get started with the masterclass. Today, we will be discussing about the responsive web designs. Okay, in the previous masterclass, in the previous sessions, you might have gone through the basics of the HTML and the CSS, right? So we will be talking about mainly about the responsive web design today. Apart from this, in this today we will be covering up the very basics of it, the CSS units and what all our CSS things we do in the responsive web designing. Very refresher thing. We will be covering the media queries, box models, Flexbox, grids, which are important aspects of responsive design. And we will be covering
Student, we are working on it. Don't worry. He will be joining us shortly. Student, there are people asking ki concept note you have submitted, but there is some wrong submissions you have made. There's a wrong email ID. We'll give you the edit rights. Don't worry. We'll open up the Google Form edit feature so that you can make changes in your submissions. All right. So Amit, we understand your concern. We'll make the changes. Uh, it's fine if you have not completed the badge portion. We have made the changes in the learning plan. So we have made it look like an different activity instead of a badge. So if your student has completed all the activity, you will be able to get that certificate of the learning plan. This is for you, Mayank. If you open the Google form, you are able to see the sample concept note. We have all the hyperlinks in that Google form. So this is For the people who are asking, where can we get the sample concept note? Faizan, this is for you. Not Saurabh, only one team leader is supposed to fill out that form, not everybody. So please, yes, you will get certificates, Shivam, after you complete this entire internship program. Swastik, that is just for your understanding. You don't have to blindly follow that concept note. We understand that is too lengthy, but we are just explaining, submitted is to understand the intent of the concept note. You just have to mention your idea in 1 or 2 page. No, no, no. We don't want you to have your concept note same as the sample. This is for Krutik. Indrani, we will not be asking you to submit your website codes. We will only ask in the final submission, you will have to submit as the important codes, not the entire codes. So we have our speaker back.
Sorry, Rohita. I don't know. My internet got dropped off in the middle.
No problem. We understand everybody is having such issues. So,
Yeah.
all right, students. So we are resuming with the masterclass. Thank you for being so patient. Over to you, Lavish.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. Let me share my screen once back. Okay. So, yep. I hope my screen should be visible to everyone. I was saying, this is the QR code link for the Q&A. Like, if you have any questions related to the masterclass, which we are going to cover today, you can post it over here on the chat. So that questions with the with these for the CSRBOX team and for the masterclass doesn't get mixed up. So I'm trying to have it on the Slido. I have also shared the link on over the chat. Everyone in the meeting room. You all can click it up. I have very small two questions for you all. Once you have opened up the link which I shared on the Slido, let me know. Okay. Okay, I'm not audible. Am I audible now? To
Yes, you are audible, Lavish.
Okay. Okay, great. So once you all are here on the link, let me know. I have very basic question for you, and to check how is the juice for the day. Okay. Uh, okay. So once you are here, there is a question for you all, which says from 1 to 5, what is your energy level for the today? I would see some answers. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay. This is just a just try to put it on the Slido so I know what's the average is for our the audience and the for everyone. Okay. Putting up the link once again. Okay. Okay, that's great. So overall, we all are at the good pace right now with the score of 4.4. Okay, so here's my next question. I just want to know where you all come from and what's the experience you hold. Okay, so my next question is, what all technologies you are familiar with, So I can set up a stage for everyone for that, right? So next question is, which all technologies and languages you are familiar with? Just type it out a single technology you know over the chat or the Slido. Okay. Okay. So I can see maximum of you have the experience with the HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And as you all have C, C++ in your curriculum, Java, so you might have that, right? And I can see React, that's great. React.js, Bootstrap, okay. Python, Flutter, Django, SAS, right? Development, J2SE, great. Okay, those are some great responses. So seems um, many of you are familiar with the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So that would be great. Okay, so let's get started for today. If the same link which you are posting up your technologies in the start, this link can be used to post up your questions in the Q&A sections. There would be a tab where you can post your Q&A questions, which I will be try to take at the end of the session. Okay, so let's get started with the first topic, which is the introduction of the responsive web design. Okay, and means why this is important and what should we do to make our website responsive and what impact it has on everyone, right? So first question comes up, why do you need responsive web design? Okay, so the basic need nowadays, we have multiple different screen sizes. We have smartphones, we have tablets, we have watches, right? And each category has multiple screen sizes, which are basically in the mobile, we have iPhones, Android with 5-inch, 6-inch, different aspect ratios, different size, foldable phones, and many more designs, right? And in tablets, we do have different size of tablets, 11-inch, 12-inch tablets. We have watches in the smart watches. Nowadays, smartwatches apps are also built using the means they support the web designs, right? The websites and everything. So you can use the basically the simple responsive designs for the smartphones or the smartwatches too, right? The thing is, so this is the main reason in a single website we need to have can be open on any devices, right? So that's the main important point. The second is the multiple screen size, which we talk about, multiple browsers, and even the browser size can be right changed. And in a single website has a multiple user base. The user can be a normal iPhone user, the mobile user, desktop user. So that's even important, right? And there are multiple browsers out there. We have Safari, Opera, Chrome, Firefox, Chromium, Brave, and many more browsers. So every browser have different size and everything. So responsive is important when nowadays we have smart TVs also. If you remember, like you can go to the browser and open a website on a TV also. The size of a TV is altogether different from the desktop or the laptop size screen. So this is why the responsive web designs come in. Okay, so when we use or what to talk about what are the advantage of the responsive web designs. So basically it improves the UX is the user interface, user exchange, where how your user is going to interact with your website. Like how is it easy to move? Like if I talk about Google just gives a box at the center where you can type it out, whatever your queries is, and it will show you the results. It's the best lean design ever, right? It doesn't have too much of the pop-ups and the post altogether. So it's very clean design, right? So user interface is very important. If you think of a website, let's say I don't know, like let's say a website which basically has very buggy interface. Like when you scroll, it takes so much time to load up. Uh, you can talk about a website or a e-commerce website which takes lots of time to show the products, to make a search available and everything. So you're not going to visit that site again because your first experience was not that good, and you don't like how that interacts with you, right? You don't like the smoothness, the time it was taking to give you the response and everything. So that if you have a responsive web design, you have optimized design, so the interface or the interaction, yeah, someone said government websites. Nowadays they have improved a lot, but yeah, there used to be a lot of chaos around the government websites. That's true. And sharing again, when you open up a link or share a website. So see, if I'm a desktop user, laptop user, I might share it to a friend or website on a mobile. He might open that link on the mobile. So the same website should be look and good feel on the mobile and the desktop altogether, right? Because it has the same common URLs. Other, when you have a responsive website, the SEO, search engine optimization, you want to rank your website top on Google search, right? So the more responsive it is, the more better indexing it will get on the Google search, Bing search, or any other search, right? The DuckDuckGo search and everything. Cost of maintenance, when you have a single website which is responsive on the mobile, desktop and tablet, the cost of maintenance decreases. Like if you have three different websites for different mobile devices, right? One is the mm, you can say for the mobile a separate website, a tablet a separate website. Like in the initial days for the Facebook, we used to have m.facebook.com, which was specified for the mobiles, right? Which has a altogether different link for the mobile applications. And the when you open on a desktop, it used to be just say the facebook.com. So they used to have two different websites altogether, right? The mobile version and the desktop version. So the maintenance cost increases because there are two developers required, one differently for the mobile application, for the desktop application. Once you have a single web application of across the same multiple platforms, the development cost decreases, the maintenance cost decreases, and many more advantages do they have, right? Okay. Challenges of responsive design is basically they do come with their challenges, right? Everything has pros and cons. When we talk about impact load time, like how much it's going to show take time to show the first pixel, first image, first response on your desktop. Okay. For mobiles, it has to load the minimalistic thing because the screen size is small, the content is going to be shown is smaller. The first interaction should be faster on mobile. There should be on the desktop, it shows a lot more content. So first response might take much more time as comparison to mobile, but there should be a small time because we are developing multiple devices websites. Nowadays there are multiple devices, right? Multiple devices, you can't count the size of a mobile in a single website. So there's a development hurdle because one same website might got some buggy around a particular fixed size which has a very small user base or particular screen size. Might be possible these challenges would come up, but they are fixable when you talk use the best practices around the responsive web designs. Okay. So let's move to the next slide, please. The thing is responsive web designs key components when we talk about. Okay. uh, First, which will the thing is, first is the UX is the key important thing, because the interaction with the website is much more important. Like when you talk about, see, we had a e-commerce website, Snapdeal, right? We had Flipkart, we have Amazon. If you think about all those things, the responsiveness of the Amazon is means the UX is very simple. Like anyone, the non technical background person, or the person like who are not so much of familiar with the mobile apps and everything, can run a Amazon website, or look on the Amazon much easier than Flipkart, because of the designs, right? The simpler the design is, the more users can interact with your design, right? How they interact with it, the adaptability is the second factor. When we talk about, basically when we talk about the desktop and mobile, so as I take the example, when I'm sharing a same thing with my different friends, I'm using a laptop, someone is opening that website on laptop, that same website on the mobile. So the adaptability is the important, navigation is also important in the responsive. When we move from one page to another, how much time it's going to take uh, to change the page and everything, right? And the user engagement is also crucial, like how much it's going to take the time to respond to the user section. Like, and I clicked on an icon, or basically I clicked on an image, I clicked on add to cart or something. I'm just taking an example of e-commerce right now, okay? When I talk about UX, someone has asked me, it means uh, it means user experience, means how is user feeling after using a website, right? When you use a lean clean website with important data only, you feel like, yeah, I can come to this website once again and use it more frequently. If you have too much of buttons which are not clickable, the button size is very small, or the point, the area of the button or a text is small, it's not clickable, you have to zoom it to click it. So it's very not so much of a good experience for a user's perspective. Like I have to do zoom in, so I'm not going to come again back to that website. Like the conversion rate would what not be so much that, like I have a similar two websites, one with a bad user experience, like the buttons are not findable, the positions of the button, the menu bar, the other options are not at good point, like those can be found easily, then I'm not coming to that website. So user experience does matter, and the responsiveness can increase the user experience quality, right? So that's the one thing. So this is very basics of the mm, use like say responsive web designs. Now let's get started with the CSS units, which is an important aspect when we talk about responsive web designs, or the important knowledge we require to make a website more responsive. Okay, let's talk about, there are four types of CSS units. One is pixel, EMs, grams, and percentage. Okay, the pixels. When we talk about pixels, pixels are the dots, the points which are fixed in units. It's based on the screen pixel aspect ratio PXI, the pixels per inch of your screen size. So we generally measures, like you can think as measurable units in the physical world, like centimeters, meters. So we have pixels over here in the websites. Okay, then we have three relative units according EM, RAM, and percentage. Okay, those three are relative to the some fix, like when we talk about RAM, we fixate or set up pixel size for the whole website at the starting, which we say as the root element. Okay, let's say we have a basic font size. Font size is the size of a content or a text. Let's say we set it as a 12 pixel for the whole website as a consistent font size. Now I want my header to be 2x of whatever normal is. So I can say 2 ram. 2 ram means whatever the size of the mm HTML or the whole website font size is, which is 12 pixel in our case, I want this header to be the double of size, so it will become 24 pixel for that header. Okay. Similarly, we have EM. EM is relative to the its parent container or parent element. By parent element, I mean, I'm going to show it in the practical also everything. For now, just going through the topics for once. Okay. Uh, so EM basically means these in the relative to the. Just give me a second, please. Yep. Okay. So EM means to the related to the parent element. Okay. Think of, as you all know about HTML. Okay. So the thing is, when we talk about, there are two divisions, division 1 and division 2. Division 2 is a child of division 1, means inside our div 1. So when we want to see like the whatever the font size of division 1 is having, like we just said in the previous example as 2 ram, I want it to be 75% of that whatever is in the parent div. So I would say it as zero point 0.3 0.7 em, so it's going to set as 75% of 24, which is 18 pixels, right? And we have third relative unit, which is the percentage. Percentage is basically in a property of how much the parent element or is taking the space. Okay. Similar to the one RAM, but RAM can go to the 3x, 4x, 5x time, whereas percentage would go to the 100%, right? You can go to the 100% of whatever size you are having, right now. So the percentage, and it can also be might be representing the might be representing the parent element or the parent HTML DOM. Okay, percentage in some of the HTML division cases. Okay. So percentage, and whereas RAM percentage can be used vice versa, but percentage is more widely used. Okay. And we have another CSS unit, which is viewports. Viewports units are according to the size. Like I want to say, what I want to give a height of a division to be the 10% or 5%, whatever my width is. So I can use VW. V is for the view width, and another is a view edge, view height, which is VH. So if I want to measure it with the height of the screen and the width of the screen, I can use VW and VH. So let's see this units in practical for once. Okay. Uh, okay. So we have a very basic template over here. I'm going to create. I hope my screen is visible to all about this code sandbox thing. Okay. Let's say we have our div, and this div is closed for once. Okay. Let's say this is a sample, and we have a class. Class will say test units. Okay. Now we are going to save this thing, so it's visible. Oh, all right. I put it outside the body. It's not going to show up. Let's put it inside the body. This is visible, right? Now let's go have create some styles over here. Okay, we have the style. Uh, for, as you all know, to select the class name, we use dot. Okay. Now I say the font size. Okay. Font size of this division should be 10px. Okay. So this you can think it as of a unit in centimeters. Basically, these are the pixels of your screen. So it's going to take the 10px. Currently, by default, in any app, website, the font size is always set to the 10px. Okay. If I increase this, let's increase to the 100. to see the changes, right? Okay. Okay. What's happened? Uh, let's see what's not working. Let's paste this inside this style. Odd. It's odd why it's not working. Let's try something else this time. Just keep it with it. Okay, it's not working. I'm not sure, but we'll go with the another tag. Let's see if it works on p tag. No, sure though. Okay, let me just give me a second. We'll switch it to the different code editor. Just give me a minute. It's okay. Whenever you put up the like 100 px or something units, we generally put up the codes. That's the thing. Inside style or something you can say, right? But let's see. Hmm, thing. Okay, it's working on the other editor, the same thing. Let me share this. Okay, it's working over here. Let's go with these div tag again. Sample div, okay, style, style. Okay, let's say test unit once again. We'll set font size. Okay, let's give this a class something to do. Okay, yep, it works. Okay, so this is the basics. Okay, we are back again. Okay, the thing is, I was talking about. Okay, let me increase the size. It should be visible now. Font size. The thing is, when I was talking about the pixels are basically the units. Now, if I say we are going back to the basic, which is 12 pixels by default, and the 16.7 is what numbers it is. Okay, when we talk about the basics of it, right? So I'm going to do like whatever the current pixel size is, which I'm going to go with the 2 RAM thing. Okay. So it just becomes the double of whatever the size is. Okay. To show you all the current size, let me open up the inspect tool. Okay. The thing is, you can see the font size is 32 pixels. Okay. Because the by default is 16 pixels. And when I click on one RAM, it's going to go back to the original and 2 RAM. Now we are going to talk about the EM thing. The EM, let's put this sample text inside a paragraph slash p. Okay. Let's say that font size to be 2 RAM for the division. Now I'm going to change the style of this to the font size as 0.75 EM. Okay. Now let's see the size of this. You can see it goes back to 24 pixels from 32, right? Because we are using the 0.75 of the double of it, right? So this is for the, we were talking about the relativity. Now we can use the percentage thing also. We can talk about the 50% of it, which is again the original 16 pixels. Okay, I can go with the 100, which is going to be 2 RAM. In our case, that's 36, sorry, 32, right? uh Now we have two more of it. Let me format document for once. Check this out. We have two more units, which is view width and viewport. Sorry, view units, which are VW and VH. Let's remove this, which are totally for the screen size. Let's say I want the 50% of whatever the screen size is, like the width of the screen. We can use VW. It's talking about the whole screen size, not just this part, right? So it's going to be the 50% of this. Let me close this. Okay, see, this is 50% of it. If I talk about the whatever the height is, I want the 50% of height. We can use vh, which is the 50%. Okay, font size. So to more precisely depict this thing, let's remove the styles. Okay, for this division, let's create a border of 1 px black solid. Okay, now I want the width of this box to be let's say 10 of view width. Okay, so you can see the box width has decreased to whatever the total size is. If I say what is the 100 view width, you can see this is the 100 view width right now. Okay, if I talk about the 100 view height, the size of the box increases to the 100 of view height. Okay, this is how the VW and VH works out. So this is the units we talk about in CSS units. Now let's move to the next part, which is responsive designs. The first one when we talk about a responsive design comes is the media query. Okay, the media query is the tags which you can put on the SCSS, like what when which CSS has to be applied on the basis of the screen size, right? We have a tag media screen at the rate media screen, and we provide the size when from when to when the CSS has to be applied, right? We provide the minimum width, maximum width, and so forth. Let's say, uh, let's do an example of this. I want to say, for media screen, there can be different size of types of media, print and screen and all. Okay, so I'm talking about media when we have screen, and the minimum height is, we can minimum width or height. Let's talk about the width. When the minimum width is 700 pixels, okay, uh, then only this style should be applied, which says test unit would have a background color to red. Okay, see, the current size of this screen is not, the width is not 700. Let me increase this. As soon as the size of this screen or the window increases to 700 pixels, it the color of the background changes to red. Otherwise, if I decrease it, okay, less than 700 pixels, it's going to go back to the original unit. So this styling would be applied on a particular screen size. So we can have a different breakpoints. Breakpoints are where the screen size changes for, or you can say the category changes of a screen size. You can see it from here, from the inspect tool itself. Let me open up the inspect tool. See, for the iPhone SE, 375 is the width at which it becomes SE. You can have Pixel 5, 393. You can talk about the Surface Pro, which has a 912 screen size. So you can give a different screen size. You can provide it and responsive, and you can try it out different screen size for your website from over here. So every screen has a breakpoint. For tablet, it's something around 768. When we say the width is 768 for tablets, for all the mobiles of large size is 425 pixels width. We have medium for 375 and small for 320 pixels. So smallest is iPhone 5, which used to come. Nowadays, iPhones are also have become more large. So I don't think so. We have small screen size iPhones. Okay, so let's go back to the responsive. Okay, so this is basically, you can provide multiple. You can provide the minimum height and the maximum height from which to which space. Like I want to say, this styling should be applied to 375 pixels, and maximum should go, these are the multiple conditions. Okay, maximum width, it should go to 768 pixels. Okay, for let's say for the large mobiles and the tablet, in that case only, the screen, the background should be black, or sorry, red. Okay, but it's not changing. think it's changed up something. Oh, sorry. We have to provide the and, like multiple conditions have and. Okay. So it's when the screen size becomes smaller than 375 pixels, the red color decreases. Okay. So this is how it works out. Okay. So let's go to the next slide. The next part is a box model. Okay. Before understanding how to apply these stylings to the dev elements or something, we should understand the box model first. Okay. Box model is a model, or you can say how a element is covered up. Okay, when we talk about designing, we should understand this thing first. Every element, div, paragraph, or you have h1, h2, listing, ol, anything, has a box around it. Okay, box means a border around it. Center is the content. There's a border. The space between the border and the content is called padding. uh, and the space outside the border is called margin. Okay, we depict the upper side as top, the right side right, left has the left side, and bottom right. So these are the basic terms, and those have width and height. So you can, when you provide a width or height, the width height is increased between the borders, not of the outside the borders. Okay, so the width and height is only considered for the borders, right? uh, Inside the borders basically. So you can if the border size increases, it's going to shift the outer content, not the inner content, if the padding is fixed. If you haven't fixed the padding between the content and the border, then the content could start shrinking up. Okay, so to make a outer thing work out, you can see the increase the fix the content size, the padding and everything. Okay, and you can see the same thing in the inspect tool. Okay, when you hover over any, let's close this. When you hover over any element, this called layout, sorry, computed, right? We have computed, which has this box model. It depicts what's the size of your content, what's the padding, what's the border, and what is the margin, right? So you can see margin, padding, and the content hovering over it, and you can change and update the everything accordingly. Okay, so this is the box model, and this is very important when we talk about the responsive web designs. The next topic is Flexbox and grids. Okay, so we have talked about the units we use for the responsive web designs. We have talked about the box model, which is important while we are providing the margins, paddings, and the height, width, and everything. Now comes to make the things responsive. When we have multiple divisions, content, how we can change on the basis of different screen size. The appearance should automatically get updated if on the basis of screen size, right? So we have two main concepts: flex box and grids. We are going to cover the grid first, and then we are going to cover the flex box. Okay. When we talk about the grid is considered as two-dimensional designing. When we talk about two-dimensional designing, and flex box is considered when we have a single dimension designing, like when we want to design our multiple divisions in a single row or a column. When we have multiple divisions and we want to bifurcate into a multiple uh, like 2 by 2 grid or 4 by 4 grid or something like that, right, in the two dimensions. So let's talk about the grid first, and then we will go to the flex box. Okay. uh, so let's go over here. So to define that a division is a grid type or a flexbox type, we use a display property of CSS, which is grid, or flex. Okay, flex is the for the flex box, and grid is for the grid box designs. Okay, so let's get started with the grid. I'm saying I'm going to apply the grid design pattern to the this division. Let's create multiple divisions over here. Okay, sorry. Let's say 4 divisions. Everyone has one text in it. 2, 3, 4. Let's remove this media query for once. Uh, okay, we have a block over here, and let's give a class to it. Class inner div. Okay, let's give it a border. 2px red solid. Okay, and let's give it some. Okay, now everything has border to it. That's great. Now what I'm going to do to create a grid, you have to provide how your grid is going to look like. We have a grid template, uh, which says rows and columns. Okay, so I'm going to divide this grid into 2 cross 2, which is going to be 50-50%. There should be 2 rows of 50-50% and 2 columns of 50-50%. Okay, so grid templates, let's say 50% and 50%. Let's close this. And grid template should have columns of 50% each. 50% each. Okay. Okay. Now I have converted this particular division to the 2 cross 2 division. Okay. I'm changing the width right now because it's additional. Let's say it changes to 100%. Okay, that's fine. This has been divided into the grid. Okay, I can change multiple divisions, like I can say there can be a rows of 50-20, 30-50, how much. So when I'm designing a multiple grid wise column, I can use this. Okay, there are multiple properties of grid. Let's say we have property of grid. I have auto flow, areas, and everything, right? Just give me a second. Okay, you can decide which single row can have means single cell can have multiple divisions in it, and you can divide it out. So that's how you can use the grid to design your responsive. Okay, when I decrease the size, this grid would remains the same and it's not going to break. Okay, this is how the things work out in the grid style box. We have another like this. If I talk about this design, this is having a 60-40 in the first row, second is having 40-60, and a third, the fourth cell is divided into two with the 2 rows and a single column with 50-50 or 40-60, what you can say. So you can design as a single grid, and this is how it can work out. Okay, we have again we have a flex box. Okay, in a flex box is a single design. See, this flex box design you are seeing it right now has 2 grids inside it. One grid is this one and the second is this one, and the whole design is a single flex box. When we have a single dimension, we'll talk about. Let's convert this same example to the flex box. When we have flex is the property, we try to do it. Okay, what's happened, let's say it's going to take 100. Each inner class is going to take width of 50 pixels. Let's say, if not say 500 pixels. Okay, it's taking a space of 500 pixels. So you can see the size, and when I decrease it, it's going to decrease according to the pixels of that screen size. Now I want each of this division if to have a fixed size, and okay, but I want every content to have whatever size is to have a space apart. I want to make it a space all around between. So you can use a flex box. Let's remove this. Okay, I want the space between. So there is a property called justify content space. Okay, it should work. Let's see what's the. Let's inspect this out. What's the width it's occupying right now? It's not taking 100% of it. Uh, just should apply between. So you can see it's taking 100. If you wait, let's change it to a percentage again. It's fixed with content 90. Okay, so yeah, it's fine. So to the 100, I can see like it's taking a space between around it, and if I want to start from the right hand side, I can design it as flex, and so everything is going to start from the right hand side. For the flex start, we have the left hand side. So all these properties can help you out to make it basically responsive if you want to justify the content to the center, so that it's in the center of everything. So you can say center. So everything could work out as a flex box, but this is for a single style. I have two other exercises for you which you can do to practice the grid and the flex box. These are very good exercises. Okay, or you can say a small games. One is CSS grid garden. Let's just load up. And other one is Flex Froggy. Okay, so what you can do, there are 28 levels to practice the different CSS styles. Here is a grid of 5 by 5. Okay, you have to place the water and the plants on the same size. So this is first property when it comes when you want to change a water's grid point. So let's say it says grid column, from which column this water should start from. Okay, it should start from the 1 to third grid. Okay, the column. So this is how I can place and have play around with different components inside a single grid. Okay, so you can practice the different properties over here from the CSS grid garden. I'm posting the same link on the chat. Okay, similarly we have a Flex Froggy, which is a similar game to this for practicing the flex box. Okay, let it load it up. Okay. Yep. So you have to put the frog on the pad. You can use different like this is the one element and this is the another element. You have to play around with different like flex, justify content. So I would say let's practice one of justify content to the start. It's not working. Let's put it the end. So see, it put on the frog on the pad or something like that. So you can practice the different properties over here on the flex froggy. Okay, so this is all about making a website responsive, the basic concepts. Okay, now comes the debugging part. When we talk about the debugging and how to debug anything, let's talk about that for now. As I was talking about in the same example, you can open up the inspect tools, right clicking it or shift control shift I on the Windows or Linux or command shift I on the Mac. Okay. You have element styles over here. You can put up different class, or you can put up the inspector tools, hover effects, to play around with the styles. You can change the different screen size to see how it's working on different screen and aspect ratios. You can different change this width and height. You can change the what we say the orientation of a website to horizontal or the landscape, right? There are multiple standard font sizes are available on the browsers, Chrome and anything. You can use these to update the this like check on the particular screen how it's going to your website is going to look like. Okay, the next hub of Galaxy Fold, and you can add it. And here's a list of all the phones or the devices available, screen size available over here. Another thing is you can check it out in the networks tab, how much time your website is taking to load up. If I just refresh this website, how much it's taking to load up on the website and everything. So how it's what is the response time for the user and everything, right? So these are the some of the bugging things you can debuggers you can use. You can see the source control, like the different code and everything from the sources or the applications, right? Like you can see the cookies and everything. For the elements is a good tool. You can update and remove the element, delete the any element if you want over here from the inspect tools. You can update the styling. You can use like I can create a whole together instead of writing a whole style in the, I would say, in the editor over here or the code editor. I can simply say display flex and everything and check it out how it looks like on different screen size, and then update on my code or something. So yeah, this is a good tool, or you can use it, right? Okay. Yeah. So this is all about the debugging, creating a flexible, responsive web designs and everything. Now we will talk about the best practices. When you create, first best practice is when you create for mobile phones. Keep the thing about the thumbs, like is it reachable? The OK button, the accept button, delete buttons, are they reachable in the thumbs area when you design a website? Okay, the content should be visible on the other parts where your phone or thumbs can't reach, right? But you can use design the buttons so exactly that your thumbs are reachable to it. So it's just the 30% of your screen which where your phone can or the thumbs can reach, is this area, the easy and accurate area. Okay, and okay is area because this is covered by your palm or something, right? So generally, put your buttons on the easy and accurate area. Like you can think of this as a framework or something to make a more design or user friendly. Okay, if the buttons are not reachable inside the thumb area, right, it becomes very hard to operate the website, right? Uh, Another best practice you can use about making the layouts as fluid, as we talk about using the relative units instead of a fixed unit pixels. Use percentage, VMs, RAMs, EMs, VW, VH. Okay. If I'm going to use a fixed, it's going to get cut out, overlapped over the screen, or it's going to go out of this visible area. So try to use the percentage or the fixed units. Okay. Other practices is check out the design in the orientation in the landscape and the portrait as I showed using the Chrome tool. The typographs like the headers, tags also be in the response, or we can say uh, relative units. Lazy load images, conditional loading, and responsive images. So these are the three important things. Don't load all the images or the videos at one go. Load it all at different times. Responsive images are like you can use the media query to show different size of images. Like we have for the desktop, you can use a background URL करके, you can use for image URL, and that URL can be used on different media size. So those are the different images are visible on different aspect ratios or different mobile. Like for mobile, you can use a different altogether a different image or as compared to the desktop, so that it becomes responsive and it looks good on the mobile, right? So you can use responsive images. So that covers up the basic details of the responsive web designing from my side. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay. I will be taking those questions now. We'll share the link of the Q&A link once again over the Slido. I do have some questions over here. Which is better in React, custom CSS or Tailwind? For React, I would say go with the Tailwind because many components in CSS are already written down for you. Okay, instead of custom CSS, use the Tailwind. Someone has asked what is Tailwind. Tailwind is a library like Bootstrap. By library means they have predefined classes. Grid, Flexbox, they have a class already. Means you don't have to write down the whole CSS again, right? Uh, there is already written down their CSS part. You just have to use the class names as we have used test widgets or something like that, right? For the Flexbox, they have D hyphen flex. For the D hyphen grid, for the they have row column for the grid, right? Uh, Similarly, Tailwind have their own classes nowadays. Someone has asked Rust versus JavaScript versus TypeScript. Okay. First of all, JavaScript and TypeScript are similar. Basically, TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript, means basically it is JavaScript with types. In JavaScript, we don't have types like integer, Boolean, string, character like we have in C, C++, Java. So JavaScript doesn't to have where like we don't have to write the types in front of a variable. It's not type means it's not a type strict. TypeScript strict means you are not forcing the types on it, right? So that's one thing. So JavaScript and TypeScript are similar, just they have typings over it. Rust is altogether a different language, you can say, but it's up to you which you want to start. But I would suggest JavaScript and TypeScript, as these are more morely used on the website development or web development. Means basically Java, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are the three important languages, like for HTML structure, CSS for style, and JavaScript for the behavior. These are the concepts, right? We have another question. I have always struggled when I develop a website, make it a mobile friendly RAM, EM. I can't use them efficiently. Okay, someone asked it, right? So see, for the RAM, EM, when you have a fixed, let's understand the concept here first about the RAM and EM. A RAM is, as I told you already, it's fixed for everyone, right? This is based on the root element. So you know what's your root, like HTML font size. It's 16 pixels by default, unless and until you change in the HTML tag, right? So Uh, do one thing when you know that the size of your screen or the text should be in respect to the RAM. Use it. Otherwise, I would suggest to go with the percentage to make it mobile friendly. Okay, and em is also when you know that the whatever the size of the upper element is good, right? So when you're using the percentage in the parent element and you want to make it relative to the parent element, like say sometime the point comes, I have a background of an image, okay, but I want to show the text over that image in the 50% of that background size, right? So I would suggest to go with the em as you whatever the size of the background is, go with the em in that case. So as much as you practice it, you will get a hands on it. I would suggest go with the percentage first, then start playing along with the ems. Ram is rarely used because it's altogether on the root element relativity, so that's uh, not used that much. So play along with the ems and percentage. uh, Different css for mobile tabs and desktops. uh, I would suggest to use media query if the fixing styling doesn't work. But in the major cases, the percentage EMs like the relative units would work out. Okay, unless and until it's not getting fixed using that, I would suggest to use the breakpoints like 768 for the tablet, 375 or 450, 450 or 425 for the mobiles. Uh, that's right. You can use that. Uh, Okay, someone has asked about how to connect the front-end interface to a website to a server. I find it difficult in the course given. Could you please summarize? Sure. The thing is, when you want to connect a front-end and server, you have to use the API. Okay. API is application programming interface. It's just a full form. You can think it as a point of contact for when you are talking to a backend, right? Backend is altogether different server where it's working on, and the front end is altogether on a different machine it's running on. Okay, so for connecting two different entities, we need a communication channel. As we want to talk to some person, uh, we need a medium like a communication like English or Hindi or something, right? The medium to talk about. So we have a APIs which is understandable by the front end and the back end both. Okay, so you can use the APIs just a simple URLs like google.com, any is a link, and these are also called the APIs. But the difference is these APIs or these links get you the whole together HTML content, right? For the backend, there might be a different API, but that would be getting you a JSON object. JSON object is a language which means this is a common uh, point, like JavaScript does. Every language does understand JSON objects, right? So this is a common language which is known by the every language. So in the JavaScript, mm, there's a function named fetch which is used to call the APIs. Okay, APIs or the links we are talking about, and that will get you some response. So you can use the APIs to connect with the server. Server can be hosted on a different machine, altogether a different link. I would say to practice with, you can start with the Open Weather API, which will provide some links to fetch the locations data. Like if I want to talk about what's the weather in Delhi, India, so it will give me the latitude, longitude, current weather, humidity, and everything about that location. So go and open up the Open Weather API, and you can fetch that data using the fetch function of the JavaScript in the front end, and show that data in a good formatted way to the user. Okay. Uh, what is better, web framework, React or Angular? This is a debatable topic. uh, React has is a first of all is a library, and Angular is a framework. uh, React has frameworks based on React are Next.js, White.js, I guess, and there are more frameworks based on React. So the thing is, now React has a x e to the power x learning curve, whereas the Angular has the steep learning curve. For means you have to learn a little bit about. I'm going to take some fancy names over here, jargons like dependency injection, modules, components, and everything to get started with the Angular. Whereas in the React, if you would be familiar with the JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, and you can get started directly. So these are in when we another point is when you're working in a big teams, Angular is more preferred because it has modularization. The every component is properly put up in the folder structure, and the structuring is great. Whereas React doesn't have a structure defined how where to put which part of the application, like where to put HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So both has pros and cons, but for the starters you can get started with the React, and once you grab a good conceptual knowledge about the component state and everything, you can move to the Angular. But this depends on the project you are working on, what's the requirement and everything. So my recommendation is React, but it's up to you whichever language you get started. uh, Someone has asked for different CSS and mobile tab desktops. It's not. You can, as I told you, you can use the percentage EMs for the starters, but it doesn't work, use the media query or additional resource you refer us. Okay, for the React, what you can use, React or their own website is a good tutorial itself. They have very elaborative starting modules written over there for the React. Or nowadays, there's a website, a free code camp or something, which you can get started with it. Okay, but React own website is good. Let me post the docs of it. They have a very descriptive forms of the React. Let me post it for getting started. Not the legacy one, but there are two websites. React.dev. Just give me a second, posting the link over here. Yep. There is website react.dev.learn. You can get started with this. Uh, Frankly, this is a very good website to get started with. Okay. There's the questions. Okay. We have, what is Bootstrap? Okay, Bootstrap is a library, CSS library, which makes your life easy by writing down many CSS classes altogether. Like for navbar, for we have CSS for headers, footers. We have for card, and many means it has written down the CSS for many components beforehand only, right? So you don't have to write down the CSS for that. It's a good library. Like we have a competitor like Chakra UI, Material UI, and Tailwind CSS. So these are some of the competitors of Bootstrap, but Bootstrap is a very old and good, still maintained library. Tell us something about the backend. I mean, how we can add backend. Okay. Uh, Backend is where you store your business logics, where you store your data. Okay, so you can get started with backend, like we have a Node.js, which is also JavaScript based uh, framework, or like say server, right? You can use Express.js library with it to get started with, and you have to create a API. As I told you, it's a link where you can make a call and get some data. uh, I would suggest go on the uh, Google, search for Express.js, Node.js, and how to create a backend server with it. How to get started. It's very basic server configurations. You have to do it uh, to create a backend. As I told you, for creating means making it add on the front end, you can use the Fetch API, which is more easy to integrate, right? Okay, best way to learn backend and what technologies to learn for backend. Okay. Best way to learn backend by making it. But the thing is, uh, best way to learn backend is pick up a framework or technology like Node.js, JavaScript, sorry, Java, Python. My personal preference would be go with the Java, Node.js because it's based on JavaScript. You already know JavaScript. To get started, it's very easy to. Okay. Learn backend in means I already told you. Go with the Express.js. This is a first library which you have to import. So you will be understanding how to import, how to init. Let me just share some resource with you. Just give me a second. Okay. Yep. Express.js have a Hello World program which helps you to get started with the API. This answers someone's question of how we can create API. This is a Hello World program. Means when you make a API call, it's going to say hello to you. So this is how you can create an API, and by like start with making get request. Learn about the types of APIs like they are get, post, delete, patch, put. These are types of APIs. How to make it, how to pass the body to it. Mm, Express would cover it all. Otherwise, you can just Google search it using these words Express.js and Node.js, and you will find a lot of resources nowadays to get started with. Just open up a first link which pops up and starts with that. Yes, you can. Someone asked, can I create a responsive website using HTML CSS only? Yes, you can. There's a website called dribble.com which has many examples which are just created with purely using the vanilla CSS, and those are very good examples. So yes, you can create a responsive website just using the HTML and CSS. For the someone asked as how we can create API. I just shared a link of the Express.js. My screen is not stuck. I'm just showing up the Q&A text and I am reading out the questions from Slido website. Okay. Uh, uh, Omar, I would come to your question. Just give me a minute. This someone is asking Node.js is for backend only. Yes, this Node.js is backend only. Like understand this thing. Java is for backend only. Node.js is an engine. Means basically your browser has a V8 engine. Okay, which converts your JavaScript code to the machine readable code or compiler, you can say. So what is it? That V8 engine has been separated out from the browser, created a native application which is called Node.js. Okay, and then you can run your JavaScript code natively using the Node.js thing. Okay, uh, so Node.js is basically for the backend. Uh, Another thing is how can add a public API into my front end. It's very easy. Use any public API. Use the fetch function, FETCH fetch function. Okay, and you can directly add that. uh, Folks, whoever posting over here in the chat, please try to post it over Slido. I will share the link once again so I can have all the question at one place only. Just give me a second. Yep. Just give me a second. Hmm. So let me show you an API, open weather API. API. So now my screen is not stuck. Let's see if we have an API. Okay. So see, this is an open weather API. When you sign up, you will get an API key, which is like a token or like a secret password for you to access the API for you only. Which you have to put up in this URL. Let me show the example. Let me sign in. I have a link here. Just give me a second. Okay. I'm going to hide my secret key because I don't want to show it to anyone. Let's go to the API talk once again. APIs. Let's go. Okay, here's the API doc. Let's go find some link where I can make a call directly using the link of a city name, right? This is the API to make the city name. So see, this is a link. I will put a city name. Let's say, suggest me a name of a city on the chat, someone, please. Pune. Okay. Pune. Pune. I'm going to paste my secret key. The secret key is over here. Once I put this is okay. Ah, this key is not active right now. Let me check. It might take some time to show me the data for the API key, but check if I have another API. Okay, I don't have any other API key right now. But yeah, if this API key would working, so uh it will give me a response like this. Yeah, it would have given me the response something like this, would say the latitude and the longitude, the coordinates of that location. This is called the JSON object. It would have said me current weather over there, the base station and everything. The wind speed, it's if it's going to rain percentage in the next 1 hour or something. Clouds, the system and time zone, what is it, the coordinates and everything. So this is API. You can use this public API for your right uh application. I lost this question, I guess. Okay, we have some. Okay, now I'm going to take last 5 more questions. Okay, the first question is from the last 5 is, someone asked, is Android development having a good enough scope? Yes, it does. I would suggest to learn about native applications development, where you can create the iOS and the Android application at one go using the technologies like React Native, Flutter, Ionic or something. Okay, and otherwise Android development do have a good scope, because nowadays many of and many platforms want their own app to be published so that user can directly order or interact with their apps. So they do have means opportunity in iOS, Android, web, all together are same right now in nowadays also. Okay, uh, someone is asking, any resource, since I haven't been able to clearly find the resource to start learning properly, right? So for Android development, the thing is, uh, when we talk about Android, the Android website is very vast of the Google, and it has the data very segregated, like it's divided all over the internet. You could find some of the courses, like I can suggest. Just give me a second. Uh, there's a platform. Know. Let me check for the Android development course itself. It's called Udacity or something. But yep, uh, it has a platform Udacity. You can go over there and learn about the Kotlin Android development or Java Android development. You have to first of all decide which language you want to create Android application. Like there are two ways, Java and Kotlin. You can get started with that. Okay. Uh, Last four questions. One said some websites which guide us while creating a web applications. There's a very good website called roadmap.sh, which has a very good roadmap when you're learning about the web development. Okay. Uh, yes, Dart is also there. You can use the Dart. Means it's just a choice of yours. Okay. Someone asked for a good roadmap. Here you go. This is very good website. I'm going to post it for everyone, and then I can. Here it goes. Okay. We have web development, both last three questions. One is, if somebody knows JavaScript, then will it easier to learn Node.js? Yes. Difference between MongoDB and MySQL. These are two different types of databases. MongoDB is NoSQL, means basically document type database, whereas MySQL is a RDBMS type database, real time data something. I don't remember right now, but this uses a table format, whereas MongoDB uses a JSON type objects, which are called documents. Okay. uh, how to make website accessible for different users? Very good questions. You can have proper tagging, proper division, styling. You can use the speak narrator. Okay. You might have seen on the government websites, there are three types of text written: a plus, a, and a minus. So what happens when a user has a weak eyesight? Okay, he might use a plus icon, which makes every font and everything bigger for him, so it's easier to read for your website. For different users, use a speaking narrator. Means when a narrator use proper alt tags, and different tags are available, so which should be read by this screen narrator properly, for the blind or some persons like those. So this is the ways which is you can make your website accessible for different type of users, or with different capabilities. And there's a whole together a very good blog by MDN, Mozilla Development Network, about the accessibility. Just Google it, accessibility or MDN, you will find it how to do it, right? uh, Last one questions. uh, API, I already answered it. For this front end web, if somebody knows, I just answered that. Please provide a site link. You can create a website with HTML, CSS. uh, I don't know, provide a site link, we can create website with HTML and CSS. You mean a sample of it? You can create your own portfolio website, like your how what your portfolio website, something where you put your image for your qualifications, your achievements and everything, so you can use that. Okay. Okay, there are no good questions on the last one. Question goes, I have faced some course issues while working with APIs. Can you suggest a solution where I don't have to create a server? Okay. Uh, See, course issues comes only once you have the course enabled on your backend. That's very common problem. You can just go on your backend and disable the course on the Node.js and Java backend, right? And it's very easy to do that. Okay. Can we have a guide to make our own portfolio?